So let's do a really quick update, infertility update. I promised y'all I would share my journey. So this is me being consistent. Maybe not. Y'all know I'm a little fickle and phony when it comes to creating content just because I have a lot on my plate. But I am holding to my promise on this because it's something I'm very passionate about. So recently I went to the doctor and I had blood work done. So my husband and I were hoping to start a new transfer in July, and it is now August. So obviously something took place. What happened? Well, I went for my baseline appointment, and it is for them to do a baseline ultrasound and blood work just to make sure that everything is okay to start a new transfer. My doctor is very thorough, so before every single transfer, we do baseline ultrasound, blood work, and create a new plan moving forward. So this will be IVF round 3 if we decide to move forward. So at my baseline appointment, my doctor did a ultrasound, and my fibroids were so large that she ordered a MRI, right? The fibroids appeared to be larger than before, which is why she ordered the MRI, just so that she could get a closer look. So I went to the MRI appointment, and that revealed that my fibroids had grown significantly, meaning that would be something that we would need to discuss moving forward prior to transfer. So fibroids are, in my opinion, I'm not a medical professional, but they're like benign tumors on the uterus. My fibroids are not inside of my uterus, they are on the outside of my uterus. But my doctor wanted to schedule a hysteroscopy just so that she could take a closer look to see what exactly was going on, to make sure that those fibroids were not affecting my uterine lining, and how that might affect me moving forward if I decided to move forward with the transfer now that the fibroids have grown. So I went in for the hysteroscopy. We are currently here. I'm waiting on my hysteroscopy to be started. They want to look at my uterus to make sure that my fibroids are not affecting my lining. If they are, then they want to recommend surgery, but I rebuke that in Jesus' name. So waiting on surgery to start, and we will keep y'all updated. Bye. So basically, my uterus is the size of a woman in her first trimester of pregnancy, and my fibroids have grown significantly, just as my doctor had predicted. So with my fibroids, I really have not had any issues, to be honest. They appeared about 2 years ago, and I didn't even know I had them. They don't really cause me any problems. Up until recently, I will say that things started to change after my first and second failed IVF cycle. I noticed that I was using the restroom a lot, peeing. I was peeing a lot, like multiple times in an hour, and that was a little concerning. And then after my DNC from my miscarriage in December, I had significant bleeding, and so that also was an indication that something might be going on with these fibroids, which is why my doctor wanted to take a closer look. I am out of surgery. Doctor is saying that I do have uterine fibroids on the outside of my uterus. My uterus is clear and good to go, but she is concerned about if the fibroids will affect my pregnancy if I do get pregnant after transfer. So that's something we're trying to figure out. Decisions moving forward. We do have to have a post-op consult, so I will check in with y'all after the consult and kind of let you know what we decided. At this point, we have done the hysteroscopy, and then we have to talk to our doctor to see what are the next steps moving forward, the next steps that would be best for a successful transfer, and then obviously most important, my health and well-being as well, right? Because I do want to have a child. I would love to become a mom, but I'm always very mindful, and I encourage anybody who's going through difficulties with having children to make sure that you prioritize your health and well-being, right? It's important to you, obviously, if you're on this journey to become a mom, but it is just as important to make sure that you are okay throughout the process. And that means physically okay, mentally okay, and, keeping track of that just to make sure that you're good. So I want to prioritize myself throughout this journey. Hopefully that does not seem selfish, but I absolutely do. So with that being said, we met with, we had a virtual consultation with my doctor. She basically just recapped and let us know that my fibroids have grown significantly. My uterus is enlarged, and that might explain some of the pressure, the frequent peeing that I'm doing. I don't mean to be graphic, but the frequent urination, that might explain some of that because the largest fibroid that I have is sitting near my bladder. Some of the things that she explained was, going into pregnancy, without removing the fibroids may mean that I might have a pregnancy that is similar to a person carrying multiples, right? Because of the amount of pressure on my uterus. And now I am starting to have changes within my body, as a result of having the fibroids. So whereas before I didn't, and the fibroids were not huge, they were small. There's also the possibility that the fibroids have grown as a result of the infertility drugs and medication from cycle 1 and 2. Because before they were sitting there quietly, not bothering anybody, minding their own damn business. But now we have done 2 IVF cycles, unsuccessful IVF cycles, and these fibroids are basically probably being fed by the medication. As far as next steps moving forward, at this point, my husband and I are discussing what would be best for both of us. And like I mentioned before, I am prioritizing my health and well-being. So in asking my doctor questions in the consultation about ways, what the pregnancy might look like, what are the chances of a successful transfer and a successful birth. I'm also asking questions about my well-being and my health. I'm asking her, for example, what are the chances that this might cause me to, be harmed, or is there any fatal risks associated with doing another transfer, another IVF cycle without removing the fibroids? And then also asking questions about the success rates of doing the fibroid removal surgery, or the myomectomy, I believe it's called, doing that surgery. What are the risks and associated with that for me? This is our very last embryo that we have. So we want to make sure that we're doing the best that we can, and giving our last shot the best that we got. Doctor has recommended fibroid removal surgery, and it's honestly something that I am deeply considering, mainly because it has started to affect my day-to-day lifestyle. Like going to the restroom every hour, she's busy. I don't have time. I don't have time to stop and go to the restroom so frequently. Just the other day, I used the restroom before I left to go to work. And then by the time I got to work, which is 11 minutes away from my house, I literally felt like I had been holding my pee all day, and I had to go to the restroom. So yeah, it is becoming a lot for sure. And so that is why I am seriously considering the surgery. But I don't know. We don't know. My husband and I, we truly do not know if we are going to decide to do an embryo transfer after this surgery. The recovery time is about, I want to say, she said 3 months. And that's a very long time. So I'm not quite sure. I just really have to check in with myself. So I'm not looking so far in, like, I'm not taking everything in at once. Like, I'm breaking things down piece by piece to make sure that I'm making the right decision, to make sure that I'm checking in with myself. So what I'm gonna decide to do following the fibroid removal surgery is check in with myself to see where I am, how I feel, what I feel, and if I feel like I want to do the last embryo transfer, right? Because at the end of the day, I have put my body through so much, and I cannot say that enough. I'll probably say it on every video, but if you know, you know, like, this is crazy. The infertility journey is crazy, especially when you're undergoing treatment for infertility. It can be real wild. So I just have to take my time with this, and my husband agrees. I make sure that he is a part of every decision that is being made, every phone call, every consult, because I definitely want his input, and his input is important. And yeah, so that's where we are now. That is my infertility update. And until the next infertility update, y'all be good, and I will check in with y'all later.